own minimum wage increase? And if so, what should that amount be and why? Two-part question. What should that amount be and why? And would the increase in minimum wage simply be pushed to the consumer in the way of higher prices for their purchases?
So I think the easiest fix on the minimum wage is you just have the federal government come with a minimum wage, you benchmark it to inflation, and then it's good for all 50 states. In regards to what you're discussing, though, the concern that I have isn't so much, and it is a concern, but it isn't so much what people would say about, well, I'm going to be paying more maybe for a pizza. The reality of the situation on minimum wage, it really isn't the minimum wage issue. The reality is we have a serious situation coming down the pipeline, and that is this, the kiosk, this, the iPad, this, automation. Because what you're already seeing now are restaurants that have the kiosk. So if you want to go to, say, $15 an hour, okay. But what you're really doing is you are now replacing people with technology. You're eliminating jobs. And then where do these people go for jobs? So the other thing, too, is when we're looking at those opportunities, we can look at the kind of things that create opportunities in parts of our communities that really need help. You know, one of the things that I helped to pass in Richmond was making every historical black college and university SWAM certified. So now, under their umbrella, they can launch new business opportunities, or they can go out and they can cultivate new opportunities. So when we look at this issue of minimum wage, we can certainly address what it should be or how we should do it, because people do need to make more money. But we have to look at it from a perspective of what do we do to help people not lose their jobs, and what do we do to be able to address the big challenge, which is in a couple of years, automation is going to replace not just restaurant jobs, but maritime jobs, automobile jobs, trucking jobs. This is going to be a very big issue, and one that we have to seriously address.
Thank you, Mr. Yancey. Ms. Simonds, over to you. 2 minutes.
Well, I believe in increasing the minimum wage to $10 an hour. And I think it's really important for me to be honest with you about where I stand. And if you elect me as your delegate, you're always going to know where I stand. And many times with my Republican opponent, I don't really know where he stands. I don't really know what kind of increase in minimum wage that he would support. But on things like healthcare, you're going to know exactly where I stand. In terms of minimum wage, I think we have an issue with multinational companies in Virginia paying low wages, and then we have those citizens relying on state and local government services. So if we increase our minimum wage, we're going to have less dependence on taxpayers. And I think that a lot of these multinational corporations aren't paying enough taxes in the state of Virginia. So at least we can get them to pay their workers fairly. And I also think workers, what I'm hearing on the doors from working people in Virginia, that they're very concerned about pre-existing conditions and their health care. When they lose a job, they're worried, how are they going to maintain their health care? And that's something that we really need to focus on in the General Assembly.
Thank you. Next question.